Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely because what I am about to share with you is extremely disturbing and absolutely essential for you to understand. There is a moment when a person does not just behave in a harmful way, they actually turn into a force of destruction. When a narcissist fully gives in to the darkness inside them, when they throw away every sense of right and wrong, and when they welcome cruelty like an old friend, that is when they step over a line most people cannot even imagine crossing. You need to pay attention. People often think of evil as a vague idea or something from stories and movies. No, evil is real. It can move through people. It tempts them and steals their spirit piece by piece until they stop resisting. Narcissists are the perfect hosts for this because their entire life is based on lies, manipulation, and the endless hunger for control and superiority. Now, understand this clearly. This is not just someone being arrogant or selfish. This goes far deeper into something darker. When a narcissist reaches the point of no return, when they finally give up their soul in exchange for power and control, you will notice three clear signs. These behaviors are not minor flaws, they are red flags. They are alarm bells. They are warnings that something very dark has taken over. If you do not notice these signs or if you ignore them, then you are walking straight into the grip of someone who no longer cares about consequences, someone who has given up their humanity for something much more frightening. Think about this. Have you ever met someone who drains the energy from every room the moment they enter? Someone who seems to feel stronger when others are hurting, and someone who manipulates people with such cold precision that it feels mechanical? That is not normal behavior. That is someone who has gone far past the limit. And here is the hard truth. Once they step past that limit, they do not come back. You cannot convince them to change. You cannot save them. They do not want to be saved. They have chosen lies instead of honesty, destruction instead of building, and dominance instead of love. If you open your life to them, if you play their games, or if you think you can beat them at their own tactics, you are risking everything. So listen carefully because I am going to show you the three terrifying signs that a narcissist has fully surrendered themselves to darkness. If you notice even one of these signs in someone close to you, protect yourself. Leave. Keep your distance. You are not dealing with a difficult personality anymore. You are dealing with someone who has become dangerously unstable in their thinking. They used to wear a mask and pretend to be kind. They used to at least pretend to have emotions, compassion, or guilt. But that phase is finished because when a narcissist gives their heart to the darkness, they do not just cause pain, they actually enjoy it. And that is the start of the real nightmare. At first, the change is subtle. You begin to notice small shifts in the way they act. They do not just argue with you anymore, they start mocking you. They do not just make mistakes, they create chaos and enjoy watching the outcome. There is a disturbing comfort in their eyes when they watch someone break down. There is a grin when they see sadness. There is a spark of satisfaction when they know they have damaged someone's confidence or made them question their own mind. Most people harm others because they are angry, afraid, or dealing with a weakness in the moment. But these individuals do it because they choose to. They do it because it gives them energy, because the suffering of others gives them a sense of power they cannot get anywhere else. That is how you know this is not just a personality problem. This is something darker steering their behavior. Watch their face the next time they humiliate someone, the next time they lie to make you feel confused Or the next time they deliberately hurt someone emotionally, do they look ashamed? Do they look unsure? Or do they look pleased with themselves? Do their eyes shine with some twisted satisfaction? Do they lean in closer, waiting to witness the emotional impact? If the answer is yes, then you are dealing with someone who has abandoned empathy. And what makes this even more frightening is that they do not only target people they dislike. That would at least make sense. No, they target everyone, including close friends, family members, and even their own children. The closer someone is to them, the more powerful they feel when they tear them down. That is why nothing you do is ever enough. You can pour love into them, show loyalty, support their dreams, sacrifice your time and energy, and they will still want more. They need to see you hurting because in their mind, pain is currency and control is measured by how much damage they can cause. If they can break your confidence, if they can twist your thinking, if they can make you question reality, then they believe they have won. And the most horrifying part is this: they will do it repeatedly. There is no limit. There is no filter. There is no inner voice saying stop. That voice has disappeared. So watch closely. Look at their smile when someone is breaking down. Look at the way their eyes go cold and sharp when they realize they have caused harm. That is not normal, and it is not safe. If you think they will ever change or wake up with sudden guilt, you are setting yourself up for heartbreak. There was a time they used to hide their deception. They used to cover their tracks with half-truths to make you doubt your own memory. But now they do not even try. They do not need to, because they have reached a stage where reality is whatever they decide it is at that moment. They lie constantly, confidently, and without hesitation. And the most disturbing thing is that they believe their own lies. You could show them solid proof and it would not matter. They will look you directly in the eyes and say you imagined it. They will call you dramatic, unstable, or overly emotional. They will speak with such certainty that you will question your own memory. This goes beyond lying. This is about rewriting the past. They will alter events as they speak, changing history right in front of you, expecting you to play along. If you challenge them, they flip everything onto you. Suddenly, you are the villain. You are the liar. You are the one causing trouble. They twist the story so smoothly that even people who saw the truth will start to question themselves. That is how they keep their control. They are not only manipulating people, they are manipulating the narrative of reality. And the more they get away with it, the more extreme they become. They test the limits by saying things so outrageous you cannot believe they would try it, but they do. And even if they do not truly believe what they are saying, they force themselves to, because at this point, the truth has no value. The only thing that matters is the version of events that benefits them. And here is where it gets emotionally devastating. They do not only lie about what they have done, they lie about who they are. Their entire identity becomes a performance. One day they are the victim seeking pity and sympathy. The next day they are the hero, the savior, the wise one who has always been right. They shift between these roles without missing a beat, becoming whatever gets them the most applause, attention, or control. And if you ever try to expose them or share the truth, prepare yourself. They would rather ruin your reputation and destroy your relationships than let the truth come out. By the time you speak up, they have already planted seeds of doubt in others. They have already rehearsed their story. They have already painted you as the unstable one. In the beginning, they pretended to feel guilt. They copied emotions and played the part of someone with a conscience. But now that act has ended. There is no hesitation, no internal conflict, no quiet moment of regret. They harm, they betray, they manipulate, and they move on like nothing happened. Watch them. When most people cause damage, even if they deny it, something inside them feels heavy. Something questions if they went too far. But a narcissist who has surrendered to the darkness does not feel that. They do not lose sleep. They do not reconsider. They do not wonder if they crossed a line. They take what they want, break what they want, and keep going without a second thought. If you confront them with the pain they caused, they will stare at you with an empty calm, like you are speaking another language. And sometimes they might even smirk, amused that you still believe they have a conscience or that they can be reached with reason. And this is what makes them truly dangerous. They are no longer restrained by the boundaries that guide normal people. They are not held back by guilt, by worry, or by the fear of consequences. They see limits as challenges. They see rules as suggestions. They see kindness as weakness. They push further and further, seeing how much they can get away with. And once they realize there is no one to stop them, they become even bolder. At this stage, protecting yourself is not just optional, it is necessary because you are not dealing with someone who just makes mistakes. You are dealing with someone who sees other people as tools, targets, and stepping stones. And the sooner you recognize this, the sooner you can step out of their shadow and reclaim your power. The fear of consequences has vanished. The shame of being exposed does not exist anymore. They never feel the weight of remorse. That is why they get worse and why their damage keeps growing. Their betrayals become more dangerous because nothing is holding them back. They will shatter trust without a pause, manipulate without hesitation, and destroy reputations with ease. They will steal, deceive, cheat, lie, and burn bridges, not because they are forced to, but because it gives them a thrill. They find their sense of power in chaos. Every time they escape punishment, they feel untouchable, like the world cannot lay a hand on them. Here is the terrifying truth. They do not care who gets hurt. It makes no difference if you are a friend, a partner, a sibling, or a parent. If you are standing in the way of what they want and you must be sacrificed, they will do it without blinking. If destroying you benefits them in even the smallest way, it is already done in their mind. They will look you straight in the eyes and say they love you. And in that exact moment, they will be calculating how to tear your life apart without a drop of guilt. To them, life is either a game or a battlefield. There are only winners and losers, and they will do anything to make sure they never lose. If it means discarding people, they will throw them away like garbage. If it means walking on those who trusted them, they almost enjoy it more. When someone has no guilt, no regret, and no compassion, there is nothing they will not do. They do not just trick people anymore, they distort reality itself. Their control is no longer just a psychological trick. It feels almost supernatural, like they figured out how to bend what people see and twist the truth into whatever suits them. They pull the strings of everyone around them with frightening precision. They do not simply lie. They design every sentence, every gesture, every expression. Every intentional silence is a weapon meant to push other people into submission. The scariest part is that most people never notice it happening. It begins with tiny shifts, like a different tone, a subtle change in body language, a quiet look, or a perfectly timed pause. They know exactly how to make you doubt your own mind. They know how to make you question your own thoughts. They scatter hints and plant ideas, leaving just enough uncertainty to make you wonder if your instincts are even real. Once they make you question yourself, they have won because now they control the story, they own the narrative, they shape the truth. It does not end with words. They command the atmosphere. When you share a room with them, you can feel it. Their presence dominates the space, even if they say nothing. They can steer a conversation with a glance. They can make someone feel worthless with one cruel look or make someone else feel powerful with a single compliment. They do not just understand how people think, they weaponize it. What is worse is that they know how to make their victims depend on them. They create confusion, tear a person apart piece by piece, and then pretend to be the hero who can fix everything. One moment they push someone to the edge, and the next they act like the savior who is there to catch them. This is not simply manipulation, it is mental imprisonment. They pit people against each other like chess pieces. They whisper half truths and spread doubts like a virus. Before long, they turn friends into enemies and lovers into rivals, all while sitting back and watching the destruction. When the damage is done, they always play the victim, or the misunderstood one everyone seeks for clarity. If you think you can defeat them at their own game, think again. While you are reacting, they are already 10 steps ahead. While you are trying to defend yourself, they are already planting the next twisted lie. They do not respect the rules, they invent them. And the second you believe you finally understand them, they change the entire game. They are not just manipulators, they build illusions. They do not simply lie, they rewrite reality to match the version they want. Once they trap you in their web and twist the story so much that you cannot tell what is real anymore, they know they own you. There was a time they faked being good. They put on a mask of morality and acted like they honored decency. But those days are gone. Now they do not just reject goodness, they mock it. They do not just turn away from faith, they hate it. If you pay attention, you will notice it in their reactions to anything pure or honest. They do not just avoid the truth, they attack it. They insult those who have faith. They laugh at people who try to do the right thing. They go after anyone who chooses honesty. They do this because the truth exposes them. Faith reminds them of who they can never become. Goodness acts like a mirror that shows their emptiness, and they cannot stand it. Instead of growing or changing, they try to destroy everything that reminds them of what they lack. Watch closely. The moment someone speaks about loyalty or love, they roll their eyes. Anything good irritates them. They cannot stand purity because it shows how hollow they are. Instead of becoming better, they prefer to drag others into the dark. They would rather ruin the light than admit it exists. They will laugh at accountability and mock the idea of answering to anything higher than themselves. They act like they are untouchable, like they are their own gods, convinced nothing can expose them. That is when you know the line has been crossed. When someone believes they answer to no one, there is nothing they will not do. Here is the chilling part. They do not just give up on goodness for themselves, they try to kill it in others. They will test you and try to break your principles. They will taunt your beliefs and make you feel foolish for having standards. They want you to surrender because the moment you do, they gain power. The second you stand firm, their mask slips, their charm disappears. What remains is something cold and vicious that hates the sight of integrity. They lash out not because they are strong, but because they cannot destroy what they cannot control. That is when you will realize this is not just a toxic person, it is something darker. There is something deeply unsettling about their presence. You feel it before you can explain it. It is not just their behavior, it is the energy they carry. It is heavy, draining, suffocating. Being near them feels like walking through a thick fog where your thoughts scatter and your spirit feels weighed down. This is not your imagination. When someone chooses darkness completely, their presence alone becomes harmful. You will feel it in yourself after being around them. You might start your day feeling strong and clear, but an hour in their presence leaves you exhausted and confused, like something has been taken from you, because something has. This is why dealing with them always feels like a battle. This is why nothing ever improves, no matter how much effort you give. They do not want peace. They want dominance. They want you tired because a tired mind can be controlled. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to see the truth. The more drained you feel, the harder it is to leave. But here is what you need to understand. You do not owe them your energy. You do not owe them your time, explanations, or your endless attempts to fix what they do not want fixed. The only way to win is to stop playing. The only way to survive is to recognize the weight they place on you and remove it. Once you walk away and their shadow lifts, something incredible happens. The exhaustion fades, the confusion clears, and for the first time in a long time, you can breathe again.